Finally, folks, we have made our long-awaited return here at Big Gold Belt Media for our recap review of Power Book 2 Ghost, where tonight we are joining you live for episode 7. I Can't Fix This. I absolutely want to make sure we start off tonight by deeply expressing our love and gratitude for you all, for us here, for the love, the support, the patience, the eagerness, all that good stuff. As we as a full team has been going through some times, and you all have been there in a way that I just couldn't imagine. Through posts, through Instagrams, through IG, all of that, wanting to know where we're at, what we're doing, what's going on. And then once I was able to put out a little information out for you all have been nothing but love and positivity. And that definitely means a lot. But we're definitely excited tonight to get here, to get a little distracted, but yet to get some fun to talk about this week's episode, well, last week's episode, but the current episode that's released, and that's episode 407. So since you all are live, get in the chat, go crazy. We're going to do what we're going to do tonight. So Lucas, good to see you, boss. How you feeling?
As good as can be expected. That's the best way to put it.
I hear that. Well, let's get crazy then. We'll just take the filter off of you. we'll let you go off the rails tonight. And we'll
that filter existed in about a week and a half now.
Yeah. Well, first things first is because this is live, I think we can kind of go about the show and talk about the show and the dynamic a little bit different, because there's a lot of things happening in the world today on the news that may be able to tie into some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. But the opening scene, we do see Diana, who wakes up in the hospital. We now got a very firm confirmation that after she was brutally attacked, that she has lost her baby, and Tariq is there by her side. Even in this very small and yet important opening scene, what did you sort of make of this, and how did you kind of see this, considering that this is the beginning of the episode? How did you think this was going to send the trajectory of these two characters going forward?
I didn't expect Diana to turn into Peppermint and just wanting to kill everybody all of a sudden. And she's never truly handled a gun before. Or Tariq just going off the rails for a baby he didn't want. I think Diana said it perfectly. You didn't even want this baby. And all of a sudden now everybody got to die because of it. I think it was the disrespect is the reason that he felt that way about it, that somebody would actually do that to her. Yeah. And that they followed through with that. That's what caught me more than anything, because I was not expecting them to fully follow through with that. I thought they'd come up with something where the baby survived and maybe Diana was a little hurt and she had to be on bed rest or something. But to go down that pathway and then to explore it with just a family coming together there, even though Monet still treated Kane like he was an idiot, but the point that they all came together for Diana in that moment, I think it just sets the trajectory of you understanding there's going to be ramifications for what Felicia did. And as we see later on in the episode,
yeah,
all it takes is a cast iron skillet. Why did that white woman have a cast iron skillet? Do white people have cast iron skillets? I've never known a white person besides like Paula Dean, but she says nigga a lot, so maybe that's why she has one. But I've never known other white people to have cast iron skillets before. To the point she was murdered with a cast iron skillet, it was hilarious.
Yeah,
like our ancestors called.
Our ancestors, the meat.
You gonna get this in a day. All the grits and cornbread they had to make from master in this pot, and you got to sit on this stove, white woman. You gonna get this cast iron.
Nah, legit. A couple of things. First of all, I'm definitely going to get to the super chats in real time. So, starting off with our homie DeMarcus Vaughn. Tariq need to be the latex predator. I mean, at this rate, at this rate, you all have wanted Tariq to have a baby. He had it. Y'all wanted the baby to go away. It's gone. Will Anya be part 2? You know, the way how you all manifest things, why not? But I agree. He might need to strap up out here because the way he's putting that twin bed to work makes, I guess. Diana cooked Felicia Lewis with a frying pan. This is your brains on drugs. We appreciate the super chat. The super chats from you tonight, DeMarcus Vaughn. Yes, I will say that a comment that I saw was very interesting was that with Diana now catching a body, outside of our main principal characters, she and Effie was the last 2. And Effie now, interesting enough, is the only person of our reoccurring cast to not have a body.
She tried to catch one though.
Yeah.
She tried to kill Loren. Tried her best.
Yeah. So, failed attempt.
Yeah.
Cool Spinoza cigar. Monet shows up to the hospital, and you know, I think there's a lot you can kind of say about her emotions in a way. Just obviously she's completely sad about the events, but obviously she turns into Monet, where it's like, you know, she's seeking vengeance, but also Tariq is also seeking vengeance, and Tariq is sort of establishing his boundaries that he doesn't work for her. He's going to do what he has to do. So now we know that all roads lead to getting Felicia. Was interesting in how they really did write this scene very what I thought was very good was that with all this kind of happening, it still never led to Kane fully understanding what's happening. And I know we like to throw the dumb tag on Kane, rightfully so at time, but this one actually he was kind of in the dark about. So what did you think about Monet coming in now, you know, having a conversation with Diana? Diana's obviously acting like, you know, she gonna do what she gonna do. But obviously Monet is going to protect her, let her know, you know, the decisions are going to go to her. And then obviously Kane coming in to protect her, but also she giving a moment to saying like Kane is just trying to help here. Monet is not having that. It's the interesting tension, even when there's a time where they actually could be aligned. But what did you sort of think about how they kind of played that out with the 3 of them?
I mean, this is Monet being the voice of reason. Like, we don't get that often, where she's the voice of reason. She was the voice of reason in this scene to Diana. She was the voice of reason to Tariq and to Kane. Like, she's the one basically saying, like, even if we do this, it got to be planned out properly.
Yeah.
It can't be something where we just go at a cop. And the point that she literally cared about Diana caught me off guard. I thought she would just, like, go to wherever the baby was at that they had to remove, and then her go to that bedside and cry next to the fetus and just leave Diana by herself. But she literally cared about Diana in this scene. But it shows that Monet understands the drama that she's in.
Yeah.
Like, Carter ain't somebody you could just go at and it'd be okay, because in the end, he's still a cop. Yeah. And he has way too many connections. And she doesn't want Kane in her business because she doesn't want Noma in her business. Like, that is the other part here. He comes in there guns blazing to try to be the big brother, but it doesn't work here just because you've already kind of thrown the family to the side in the last episode. So how this episode, because something happens, you want to run up and play Captain Save him. It's like, it can't work here though.
Yeah.
Because then you'll be too much in Monet's business. So I love the point that she kept it calm.
Yeah.
In this entire scene.
Yeah. I gotta be a little honest that, like, I was definitely surprised by Diana's composure as well too, although she is trying to take her moments to be a little snappy at folks. But it's entirely right about how reading the room with Kane, because I think at a time, at least for me as the viewer, you tend to lose sight of the secrets that's not actually on the table amongst them, and what the potential liability if Kane is to know some of this information because of his alignment with Noma. So yeah. But move to the next scene. We get to see Kamal now at the coroner's office, and we get to see my man Councilman Tate here. And now we get a little throwback here with Ely and Tate on a project together, in a scene together. It's been many years. I know you're a little bit of a movie historian. Is this the last? how long has it been since we've seen the two of them on a project together in a scene like this? I feel like it hasn't been since what's the name? Since Ricky and O'Dell doing their thing.
Wow.
Has it been that long?
Is it Ricky O'Dell?
I know Michael Ealy projects, but I don't remember too many Tate projects being. Yeah, I'm sure. Here's my thing without even thinking too hard.
But
If
Michael
it had
Ealy
been a thing, people would have been already drawing the comparisons.
Michael Ealy don't really do those type of movies though. Like he does like romantic stuff or white women obsession stuff. Yeah, like he ain't never played a thug in a movie.
Yeah,
because it wouldn't be believable. He got blue eyes. So yeah, it's just like that. That's what I think. Yeah, this will be it between them two when you get this type of scene together here. But again, here you here for the Tate intensity of it all, just to see his brother, laying in the morgue and then him like questioning like what happened, and I need to know who did it. Mm-hmm. And you see the reservations of Carter, because Carter clearly, since he knows he killed him, and he's terrified at this point, not necessarily of what Tate's going to do to him, but what ramifications could come across if Tate start running his mouth, because he said then it'll open up way too much stuff, and then it's questions he can't answer that would come out.
I mean, I also think we need to put this in perspective too. First of all, this is Loren Tate's first appearance this season, major character, and I'm always going to advocate for what the Tate character could have did and whatnot. But with his first appearance now in this, and he's a supporting character at this capacity, but he makes it important. I think it is very much important to see that, as you mentioned, him going to see Carter's a little timid. Is this a person that has his number? I mean, like, he was once a cop, so they have that and whatnot. But this is why I continue to say that, like, the Influence show had so many like different routes and potential storytelling, because now we have like a character like Carter who has everybody by their tie. And then Loren's Tate character comes in. Tate comes in and is like, I need to know who killed my brother. And we see him tucking his tail. And it's, even if y'all thought we were reaching, Felicia said it earlier. It was like, well, I never known you to have a politician, have you like that. And it's just like, oh, Tate's really that guy. And we haven't seen Tate in this capacity at all. Tate has always typically been pretty sleazy, always looking for a little handout for some cash, working and brokering deals. But this time he want blood, and he said he willing to pull the trigger. So I obviously was like all on board for this, and I just was kind of interested to see how it's going to play out. I will cheat a little bit forward here now. Now, with that, I think it's safe to say by actions of Carter and his team, which Nico obviously suspects that something's going on, I don't think he executed the cleanest job here in terms of setting up the Russians here.
Well, let's just say this episode and forensics just don't exist with one another. Because if I see one more person do something that would obviously point to someone else committing the murder, and then we're just supposed to ignore the point that he shot one little shot off in his hand. Normally in cop shows, when they do that, they put the gun in the defender's hand, pull the trigger with their finger, with his finger in between, so the GSR ends up on their hand. Instead, Carter shot the bullet and put the gun in his hand. So if anyone runs the first thing they're going to say is, wait a minute, he has no GSR in his hands.
Yeah.
Who the hell pulled this trigger? Because he didn't pull his trigger. Like it's so much stuff here that you just question, but it's also he had to rush to find a way to satisfy Tate. And this was his only thing to do, because Nico already knows he's lying.
Yeah.
So we just throw that out there. Nico knew he was lying from the beginning.
Yeah.
He knew that Carter killed him. Yeah. And he just kept on lying. I think he's trying to keep Nico in the dark, which makes no sense, because this is your team. All of you are crooked. Why couldn't I tell my crooked team members what I did that was crooked? Like, who would care? If I had to say, man, I had to kill him, or it was him or us, Who would bat an eye at that? Like, it makes no sense for him to even hide this secret from Nico, but it's just Carter is under so much pressure that I think he's making bad moves repeatedly, and it's all going to catch up to him.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I definitely have my reservations now about how he is running his team. And for somebody who have looked like they have, put together a system that, can really work the entire city, can work the people in the corners, can work the kingpins, can work the jail system, that it just, all it took was one little old Tate to come in and get them shook, which is interesting because if you knew that was the case, your mistake is just as detrimental as Diana's. Diana's thinking she could just kill a cop and it just goes away. It's like, oh, well, you just thought you could kill a cop and this would just go away. A cop of a politician at that, so
no sense at all. It makes no sense. But again, it's him panicking. He panicked when he wanted him to snitch on Nico. That was, he panicked immediately and thought killing him was the solution. Instead of saying, nah, I'll take everything, I'll handle it, or I'll speak to Nico about it. Easy solution. Instead, he killed him. And now all of a sudden, you trying to cover up a cop's murder, which also makes no sense. Because he was murdered. And then what happened to an investigation? He's a cop. They're not just going to take his body and take your word for it. They're going to want to look into everything. They're on the docks. You telling me no cameras in New York City? There are no cameras on the docks. Like, again, some of this stuff makes no sense at all. And powerisms, Joe. You gotta remove the thought process of trying to figure this shit out and just let it play out. But Carter and Diana are the same person right now. Both of them killed the cop. Both of them doing a horrible job of trying to cover up killing the cop, and it's going to be ramifications for both of them.
Yeah,
because clearly it's not going to end with Tate just believing him off of this.
Yeah.
Like, I know most people was waiting for a scene where you saw Tariq and Tate talk, and then he finds out Carter's dirty, and then that happens. Like, I think that's something that's gonna have to end up happening this season.
Yeah. Agreed. Going to a super chat here, Miss Makiba. Influence. We were robbed. I feel like a broken record because every single time I get a chance to talk about how the robbery was done, I bring it up. And even at the 10th year anniversary, I was able to ask Loren Tate about that as well too. So I don't know, man. I'm staying positive and hoping that there may be something or some iteration of more power that will encompasses that, because I think there still may be plans for Tate. Because the way I look at it is that if they did not have plans for Tate, there was no reason to even have him on the season at all. At least the second part, we don't see Loren anywhere. She's alive, so
she may come back. Got 2 episodes left.
They have a lot to squish in here with 2 episodes here. But we appreciate the super chat. I do want to take another comment really quick while I tried to prioritize the super chat. I definitely want to mention Michelle's comment about, I think Tate knows the Russian guy didn't unalive his brother. I think there is a little bit of suspicion there as well too, but you notice his composure. He seems to be like he's settled, but I don't think he is. I don't think he's done with looking into things here, because at the end of the day, it wasn't a revenge. He wanted. He said he wanted to pull the trigger. So, the fact that he did not get that, what some folks may seem is that bit of like, resolve to things. I think he still may have a open tab on looking into all of that. So we'll see. But I agree. 2 episodes and they got a lot to accomplish here. The next thing
really got to come back. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah. Oh, we got a special moment in tonight's episode. I can't wait to talk about in just a second. So next we get some of the little things I skipped over. Tariq calling Davis to get help in the location. Trying to get information there. Davis also getting a text from Noma needing him. And I got a chance to talk to Carolyn, who plays Noma. So definitely check out that interview. And I asked her, I said, you know, what does Davis sort of represent in her life? Like, what's his whole purpose there? And like, you know, he has contacts. He can help her get that green card. We see 90 Day Fiance, so we know Noma's fully on it. So
we know the real what David has. That just come on now. We're not gonna lie.
No, I was getting there. I was getting there. Yeah, and very much so. She said, you know, why not have fun here? So, you know, she's very much like, you know, if they're throwing it at me and I can have some fun, then I'll take a little Davis, I'll take a little Kane. So be it. So Noma ain't worried about nothing but establishing her business, getting that citizenship, getting those contracts.
Box beat down. That's what Noma's worried about, Joe. She like, I don't give a fuck about anything else at this point. She got an old one and she got a young one.
Yeah.
Noma G on this show right now. She is the G of power this season. Because she just running through and not caring. Yeah. Which we haven't seen really that much from a female character on this show where she's just unapologetically herself.
Yeah.
And could care less about their feelings. Because she sons Kane a couple of times in this episode. Just to let him know, like, nah, this is the place that you stay in, and you're only allowed outside this box if I say you can be outside this box. And I think that's what gets Kane more than anything. Again, it's just great to see these type of women characters on shows where they just not only being bosses, but just being so free with being themselves that it works.
Yeah, nah, totally, absolutely, totally. All right. Next, we get Tariq going back to the dorm, and Brayden's on the couch. And I forget his name, but young blue character who's part of that group that's performing those shows on the underground club thing that they got going on. What you got to say? I keep thinking about it, and I know some people probably think it's corny, but if I was in college, I've been there every night too. It's the spot, low key, everybody doing what they're doing. Like, it definitely looked like a whole vibe. But nonetheless, he's in there to hold Brayden accountable for his actions, his shenanigans, and he essentially comes to tell him they're fired. And Tariq is like, and also to expose that he knows that they're running drugs and stuff through it. And we get a little bit of a pointing game here in terms of who's responsible for what. For you, what did you think about him coming in and, you know, obviously letting Brayden know about his antics and what it has cost and the suspicions around it? Well, not suspicions, obviously, because folks seen it. But Tariq also letting them make it very clear, like, who's boss and what's going down.
It's a couple of things. First, I'm gonna start off with, it's highly disrespectful that his name is Stokely. Stokely, that is the name of a lead singer of a very great group, unlike this group who's complaining that we don't know if we have fans or if we have fiends. Let me help you out here, sir. I've heard your music. You could only have fiends. There's no one who would be a fan of your music. Your music sucks. Like, y'all are a good group. Y'all are a good group because people are high. Like, and who would care? Does anyone go to a Sexy Red show and she says, I wonder, do I have people who only like sex or fans? Who cares? They here. Like, get it, Sexy. Like, they need to understand, like, your music's not good. Yeah. If drugs gets them in the door, win them over with your music. But for you to fire your promoters, the only reason people are coming to your shows, what do you think's gonna happen? No one's gonna show up. There's no drugs here. Like, this is not fun anymore. Like, if I gotta listen to off-key Erykah Badu and you two niggas rap for 30 minutes, I'm gonna be, if I'm not high, I'm leaving immediately. Like, we've seen them. Granted, what Brayden did was wrong, because for him to get that high and for some odd reason decide to take his ass on stage and do everything that he did, as Suge Knight said, you want to dance in the videos, you want to be all up in everything else, Brayden up there with 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oil and all this other shit. Like, yes, it's going to be a problem if you do that. But on the other end, like, what do you think these people are showing up for? Everybody, your lead singer is a cokehead. She's only there for drugs. If she's the lead singer, she's only there for drugs. What do you think the audience is there for? So it was comical for Stokely to come into that room and attempt to give a demand. And it would have worked with Brayden, but clearly Tariq shut it down immediately. Like, oh, you knowing anything does not stop anything. Like Tariq almost wanted to say, "Now you gonna go out there and perform like you've been performing, or it's gonna be a problem."
Yeah,
but it's with the emotion of everything he's going through, and Brayden holding him back, but then him also having to check Brayden and let him know, like, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't what you did. If you didn't do what you did, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah.
But in the end, like, your group is drugs. Like, I was just so confused. Fans or am I getting a cut at the door? Am I getting something out of this? Are more people listening to our music? Then I don't care how high you are. Do drugs. Matter of fact, give them more drugs. Because if you give them more drugs, more people show up. How do you think 21 Savage got a career? It wasn't because he was rapping good. Niggas was high, and then he captivated an audience with his music.
That's definitely Future too.
No one knows what Future says is in music. All he is doing drugs in music, which makes it perfect. That's where they fucked up at. The group name is, I think, I forget who said it. Was it Devin who said the group was named No Lie, which no lie, you're not talented.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, do songs about doing drugs. You have a captivated audience of drug heads. Like it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
And then he bosses up, but then comes in there and says, I should report you to get you expelled. So you just told these two drug dealers that I should report you to get expelled, and you not expecting your body to end up in somebody's trash can?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't make any sense for him to do all of that. But I think it was just put in there just to show how frustrated Tariq was with Brayden for Brayden's actions.
Yeah.
That's it. Because other than that, who cares about this group? They can go away.
Yeah.
Completely go away.
One thing I will say too. I was waiting for you to make that.
She should have went solo already. She's the star. She'll be young Blue and Coke Badu. Like, kick them aside and light skin Keisha just go solo. And I'm pretty sure she don't mind them selling drugs at her shows.
No. Probably in real life either, too.
Hey, that's the only way I'm going to a light skin Keisha show. I don't even know her music. I don't. She is a talented actress, though. But I don't know her music. And she, So I'll be there.
I think for the announcement of Young Blue being on the show, and once it was revealed that he was going to be a part of this group, I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of underwhelming. I thought they may give him a little bit more. So it was good to kind of get him to have a scene of sorts, and I expect him to have one more because that threat is definitely not something you take lightly. And Tariq is already on demon time right now. He grabbed the gun, and if he hadn't had something else that was much more important right now, I think that scene probably would have went a little bit different. Yeah, so Tariq is, you say what you want, reckless, whatever, but like he would have made some action there. So we'll see. The next scene we go to, I mean, without being said, we know that Tariq was telling Brayden what he had to do, what went on, and so on, and Tariq and Brayden having that conversation about the priorities here, the business or Avengers and whatnot. And like, are we really about to have that conversation? Because throughout this entirety of their friendship, we have seen them on both sides of this. So this conversation was kind of just this. It might have been lip service for all I care, because like we all know that they're going to do what they're going to do individually. They never ever are able to stir one another off of a path when they're set on it. So they'll call each other when it's too late or after the fact or whatever it may be, but that wasn't going to do anything. Carter goes back to the police academy now, or police office, whatever you want to call it. And as I mentioned earlier, like his team is able to see through him, even to the point that they're asking the right questions. And with the folks, with the idea of somebody asking the right questions, it kind of comes off as kind of like eerie, because it is the right questions, but because of the person that is, the center of this, which in this case, Carter, who's obviously lying, everything feels suspicious with what's being said. So by all means, much like you said, Nico and what's her name? Felicia, they're asking the right questions and they're drawing the right suspicion, because it's just like, what is this? After you see a politician, all of a sudden, like you just nervous, and with them trying to say like, hey, you know, we gotta find the killer, da 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 da. You know, we got to put some respect on, you know, on Kamal's name. You know, he's declared. We have to treat him for what he is, et cetera, et cetera. Then, you know, it's there's a lot of truth to that, but at the end of the day, like, you know, what can you do when he already is in the bind, considering that he's the one that did it? And it's funny though, why everybody is suspicious about him not telling the truth, I don't think either one of them suspected that he's the one that actually did it.
I think Nico does. I think Nico automatically thought Carter killed him.
Interesting.
His interactions this whole episode says that he thinks Carter killed him, and that Carter's trying to cover everything up.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a couple of slip-ups in dialogue in this episode.
Okay.
When it pertains to the Russians possibly committing the crime, because they'll say stuff like, well, how do you even know the Russians did it? Well, if the Russians didn't do it, but we still got to make it look like they did it. Like, what? Wait, then who actually killed them? Like, Carter says that a couple of times this episode, saying basically, well, if the Russians didn't do it, we still got to put it on them. But then who killed them then if the Russians didn't do it? And I think this scene also establishes Nico's respect for Kamal. Because it's Felicia who's constantly going hard, like, screw him. Like, he dead. We needed him dead anyway, was her exact words in this episode. And is Nico like, nah, he's still one of us. He's still a cop. Like, that's not something that we should be going for or that we should accept. We still got to find out who killed him. And I think that shook Carter also, because that's a head man on your team who's coming through. Like, we need to find out who killed Kamal. If it was just another Felicia, he'd have told him in a heartbeat, yeah, I killed him. And Felicia would have been like, shit, that's cool, dog. I just stomped the baby out this bitch. And then they could have went out to dinner afterwards. Like, no one would have cared. But it's Nico who's the one who's out there pushing it, like, we need to find out who did it, because he's still one of us.
Yeah. Immediately after that, Nico gets back into the gist of things and lets them know that, like, they also have an issue that's within within the jail, and that Drew made him aware that somebody's getting ready to snitch, and he's willing to make a deal in order to get protection for his sister and mother if he's able to take this person out. Then we see Drew in the situation, locking in on the target, setting it up. But I think there's one interesting thing that we should note is that while Drew is trying to do this, he definitely has a cop on his side, which means that, again, you see what sort of just the reach that they have, even within the jailing systems, to be able to do what they got to do, which is why, again, it's interesting that the whole Tate thing really ruptures everything. If you're able to get into the courts, if you're able to get into the jail systems, that means you definitely got to be able to have some reach into the courts. And if you got the police system and the task force on lock, and then you got the corners on lock, like, it's just interesting that he wouldn't have any bit of politician also on the payroll or in the loop with everything. So but anyway, what did you sort of think about Drew still being in jail and Drew have to catch a body that, I don't know, that what one of the cops couldn't do, if I'm not mistaken?
This is the one he told them that the other guy was prepared to snitch, and he called Nico to make a deal to off the guy because he's about to snitch. Also, I mean, I know it's an easy joke to make, but there's no reason for Drew to rush to leave prison. I mean, it's like a paradise for him, a cornucopia, as you will, of, lifestyle choices that he can make while he's there and enjoy himself for a while. So, I mean, he's in no rush to leave jail, but it's more funny that they're playing him as the ultra tough son here.
Yeah.
In this predicament here, or the one that could just magically kill people with no issue in prison. Now, I know. Every time somebody dies in prison, they do like analysis on how did you die to make sure the COs didn't do it. We've now seen Drew kill 2 people, and his fingerprints are everywhere.
Yeah.
And no one's questioning it.
Yeah.
But you gotta wonder, is it because of Carter's protection? That head nod that CO gives Drew on a yard is highly important to let you fully understand that they are in control of everything that happens behind there.
Yeah.
And I think you said it perfectly. If he got that deep of a connection in jail where you can get these COs to do stuff like this, like you kind of wonder just how big is this connection with Carter? Like you gotta wonder at this point, and that's why possibly it's fearful for Tate, because he said if Tate starts talking, everything gets investigated, including these prison murders. Because they're gonna be like, wait a minute, how are all these people dying, and we don't have a witness? Like, prisons have cameras everywhere. How the hell do we not have a witness? How the hell did someone get out of a cell? So you tell me he killed himself? Like, you know, asphyxiation, I think I said the word right there. When you hang yourself, it shows ligature marks. Clearly, that wouldn't necessarily be the case for the way Drew killed him. But again, it's about the police covering after whatever Drew does. That means they're going in there wiping everything down.
Yeah.
Because it's a separate investigative team than the COs that come in to investigate murders. So they got to make sure that shit's clean. So it doesn't get back to Drew, because if it gets back to Drew, it's going to get back to Carter, because it's going to go to who arrested Drew and what did you arrest him for?
Yeah. Devin, to your comment, I mentioned that he has connections in the course. I'm just saying, like, I guess with him having these levels of connections, it's interesting that he didn't have any political connections. But
that's a different level.
Right, because, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, why stop where he's at is my point, is that you understanding that when you
always remember, and I think that's what will make Influence so good if they would have done it. We've seen the connection from the political side.
Yeah.
They don't care about cops. We saw the way the DNC ran stuff. You think they care about a single cop?
That's
true.
true.
They care about any? They didn't even care about judges. They were like, nah, we control everything. We don't need any of that type of stuff. So, you know, when law enforcement are hooked together, it's normally through the courts, through the prisons, and on the street. Because those are all connections you'll always make. Sometimes most of those people are in the same rooms all the time, especially if you're a decorated cop like Carter. You'd have been in those rooms. But politicians' ego will not even allow them to care about what cops think.
Yeah.
They'd be like, well, I'm so above you. I can change laws that affects your job. I don't care about you.
Yeah.
And that's what has Tate so fearful for Carter, is that, again, if Tate start talking, it ain't just New York gonna listen. Everyone's gonna listen. And then it's gonna open up investigation from people from the outside having to come in to do it. And that's what Carter can't deal with.
I got an idea. What if this and him working with internal affairs is the means to taking down Carter, which absolutely catapults him into any bit of seat or whatever political whatever.
That's a big takedown. You take down a decorated cop, you are the man. You're huge. You're unstoppable in that city if you take down a decorated cop who happens to be dirty, and the connection goes from judges to lawyers to the COs and all that other stuff. Like, that's a win-win for Tate.
Yeah.
And then he plays a sympathy card because this dirty cop killed my brother. He could damn near write his ticket. He could have been Kamala's vice president with that shit. Like, it would have been easy.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a good way to put it. Plus, I mean, we did just watch Emperor Ocean Park. You had Mariah controlling COs. So anything can happen. Like, COs can get controlled by money. They care less about anything else.
Yeah. All right. We got the next scene with Kane and Noma, and there's just boundaries being set there with that. Once again, a little bit of Noma making sure that Kane know that this is a business deal of sorts here. But also is trying to figure out, she wants to get down to the bottom of who's snitching her out. How did she get her stuff taken? And also I can't remember just the scene where she decided to bring up Effie. I think
the scene that Kane brought up Effie.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, if you're so concerned with her, you need to be concerned with my product. Like, how is my product got hit twice?
Yeah.
Because this is when Kane tries to get Effie out the game because of what happened with the Russians.
Yeah. So next scene we get Diana at home. Welcome back, Diana, after her time at the hospital now. And of course, now that she doesn't have her baby, Monet can go back to treating Diana exactly how she treated her any other time here. Yeah. But with that being said, Diana is eager to seek vengeance, and Monet is keeping her at bay. First of all, what is your thoughts about the two of them? And even at this point now, how did you kind of see that how did you kind of think that was going to play out between the two of them? Because
it's still Monet mothering her, because she understands, like, you just lost his kid.
Yeah.
And her anger is at 1,000. She wants revenge immediately, down to sit down in the chair, and the first thing she says, all right, Mom, how we gonna kill this bitch?
Yeah.
And Monet having to bring her back from that brink, like, no, this is what we got to do. Again, that's what Monet plays this episode. She's the voice of reason in almost every situation in this episode, which we don't see. Normally, she's the hothead.
Yeah.
And she's willing to go off on everything. But here, she's smart. She's like, well, we'll bring it to Carter. He ain't got no other choice but to allow us to take this bitch out. And if he don't, then he'll be laying next to her. But again, that's still the voice of reason coming to the conclusion, like, hey, we got to do this smart.
Yeah.
This ain't something we go have cocked at and then try to kill a cop. Granted, they've killed a lot of cops on here half cocked. So I don't get it. But I mean, here she's the voice of reason. And I did like this scene between them two, because it just shows the reverse of it.
Yeah.
Of Diana kind of acting just like her mother on 1,000, and she just needs vengeance. Like the moment Zeke died and Monet had to kill whomever. And I think that's the connection there. Monet's lost a kid, Diana's lost a kid, and she's now trying to comfort her daughter through exactly what she went through.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, immediately that now sends Monet to go to Carter, because she feels like why just go to directly about what the situation is. And Monet is basically asking blood for blood here. And also making it very clear that Diana was pregnant. I mean, obviously, this is the most legit conversation between the two of them, because obviously Felicia didn't know, Carter didn't know. But one thing is for sure, that Carter wants to make sure that he got all his corner people in line. So what did you think about Monet going to Carter, which she was trying to propose, and Carter wasn't even trying to hear that, because, business is business at all times.
This constant threat he throws out at Monet of, I'm gonna put you in jail, you and your whole family. I know you're dirty. Like, no matter how decorated you may think you are, I think Felicia let the cat out of the bag when she said IAB is looking at her. If they're looking at her, they're looking at all of them. They're looking at everybody she works for. So that trump card that he thinks he has isn't as strong as he thinks it is. You can't beat a decorated cop when IAB is already looking at a member on your team, because they're just going to look at you too. But here, she did the right thing. Like, I'm coming to you. She killed my grandchild. Like, the only reason my daughter exists to me is now gone. So if I can't kill her, like, what business deal do we have? Like, it is a form of respect. And I think Carter understands that, but he just can't give the permission.
Yeah.
But he fully understands it, because he kind of wants to give her the permission to do it, but he can't, because it's another cop.
That's the feeling I had as well too, where I was just kind of like, I feel like he's kind of like, he understands street code here, but he got to keep her in line, because at the moment he let one do it, then multiple other people could be making requests like this and so on, and it kind of breaks the system. But it's funny, because Monet texts Diana and said Carter's no help. I don't know what she thought she was going to accomplish there. Like,
send Diana on a suicide mission.
Yeah, so like, oh man,
that's the only thing that's going to happen.
Thanks, Mom, for trying. I thought now I'm happy.
He texts Diana, Carter's no help, like you text somebody when you go to the grocery store, say, man, they all out of chips.
Yeah.
Oh man, shit. All right. Like, nah, Diana was extremely pissed, because if he's not going to be one, I would have assumed that would have been a face-to-face conversation.
Yeah,
with Monet and Diana, because you need to see her reaction to you telling her Carter's no help. You damn sure don't need to text somebody who can just leave your house with a gun. That card is no help.
Yeah.
Because what do you think she's going to do at that point?
Exactly what she did. Also, isn't the point of having a safe is to ensure that it is protected from kids or just anybody at that rate because it's yours. Diana going into the safe with no problem is questionable to me.
Whose safe was it though?
Monet.
Was it Lorenzo safe?
I'm sure.
Or was it the family drug safe where everybody got the combination too?
I don't know. But I mean, like, it's to the point that, like, it's kind of funny because Monet coming back later, surprised that Diana's gone. The safe is wide open. And her instant reaction is like, oh, shit. It's like, duh.
You told her that you can't kill the cop that stomped her baby out. And yet and still, you now surprised she took your gun to go kill this cop?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Ooh,
I mean, ain't nobody ever said Monet was the best mother. She just made strides this episode, but this just was a dumb decision.
Yeah.
Reach out to Diana in that way.
Yeah. All right. And when Diana got the call, Diana communicates with Drew. Drew's in jail, trying to see how Drew staying up in there. Stay up, brother. You got this. You gonna be out in no time.
Up in there. Probably staying up all night in jail, enjoying himself. It's a bunch of Everetts in there. Drew's loving it there.
Oh man. But Diana lets him know what happened, and Drew, obviously being in jail, he reacts in the way you would expect him to, but obviously he's nothing he can do. But what's interesting is, and I actually think, because I hear folks talk about Diana being immature and irresponsible, and obviously she needs to be reacting off of emotions in order for this character to be written with some level of authenticity. So her spazzing at the folks not being there for her, blaming Tariq about not being there earlier, blaming Monet, now blaming Drew, who Drew had nothing to do with this at all, but he still caught a stray from this because she's just angry because of what happened. And that, I believe, is completely valid due to the events that happened. But now she takes matters into her own hands, and you know, it was inevitable what was going to happen later on, but we'll get there in 1 second. While everybody is joining right now, because we see people are still pouring in, take a moment, hit that like button for us right now, because for us to be doing a review on what is today? I don't know what a Tuesday, excuse me. I don't know. I'm gonna say, what day is today? On a Tuesday, away from our normal Friday after the episode drop, which you don't have to worry. We got you for this coming week. We appreciate y'all coming through, man. There's a lot of other good content creators out there doing work, and other people that you can support. And once you get your recap, you can be like, well, that's all I needed for the week. So we definitely appreciate you all coming through and showing us love tonight, and also being understanding of us taking a little bit of a leave of absence to handle some personal things within our family. So we definitely appreciate it, and it is by all means never ever taken for granted. So just want to make sure we give flowers to you all for being part of the Big Gold Belt Media family, tuning in for our recap reviews. And for the folks, I saw a comment. This makes me happy. I want to go back to this comment. This right here. Nikki B. Me. I started watching YouTube because of the Emperor of Ocean Park, which is our newest show we just picked up. And now you're coming into one of the shows we've been covering for the longest. So that means a lot. Welcome to the family, Nikki B. Me, with the pineapples and the swirls, and you know, probably some lifestyling going on there. I could be wrong, I could be right, I don't know, but either way, you're part of the family, part of the team. We appreciate you coming in with us tonight. Let's keep going, because we're getting ready to get to my favorite scene of the night. Tariq going to see Mama Tasha. First of all, I love Notori. I do. I love just seeing her on this show. Makes every scene that she's in, it just brings me back to my first falling in love with Power, and the moment that, like, and I love all the spin-offs and whatnot, but the moment she's on the scene, it just feels back like all is right. But she's a fantastic actor, and us having two of our favorite characters, mother son, And then you start to get some of these little tidbits, you know, about her being able to see through his lying. You lie like your father, knowing what's going on, but also just the mother-son dynamic where she can sense something's going on, and she immediately gets into mother's mode, dissecting what's going on within him, but also being the voice of reasoning. Because if there's anybody that's going to stop Tariq from doing madness, it's that person right there. But I think it's very important to remember that Tariq also has a little bit of experience here, because when it came down to him wanting to get blood on his hands for I don't remember what his sister name is. I don't think you all either.
Everybody
Or that she
remembers
was a
Raina.
twin.
We didn't know she was a twin until like the cake episode. I did not know they were twins, but everyone knows who Raina is.
I love.
And he even brings up Raina in this episode to Diana.
I know her name is Raina.
How important it is.
It's a running troll. It's Raina. I always say Raina is the character that everybody pretends to love so much, but people really didn't. And I saw people talk about what was the moment in Power that shook you the most, and then people talking about Raina's death. I was like, Raina's death was the one that was it for you all, like of all things. Oh, okay, I'll let y'all have that. She did get an award, so we'll let her have that for what it is. I really was never a big Raina character fan. She just didn't do anything to me.
That's fine.
Yeah,
you don't like good characters. I understand. Raina was a great character.
Yeah. What's your thoughts about seeing Tasha and Tariq moment, and just really what to make of him having to go home and kind of lay it down?
I think they laid the groundwork for this from the last time he had to go see Tasha, when he beat the hell out of that store manager who was putting his hands on his mama. So I think when he said, "I know who I need to talk to," it was immediately going to be Tasha. Because it's certain things that your mom can give you for advice that you need. And they played this perfectly between them two in this scene of them her having a blunt conversation with Tariq, because he needed that, of letting him know, like, this is the way this needs to be done. Like, you can't just go gun cop and then try to kill a cop. Like, that's not going to work. And just her telling, again, you pointed it when she said, "Man, you lie like your father. Like, I can see through everything that you're doing. What's wrong here?" And then the most important conversation, and you hinted towards it, with Diana's anger, is when Tasha has to tell him, like, Diana has every right. She's mad at everybody because all of y'all tried to be there for her, but when she needed you all the most, no one was there. And until she handles this herself, it's always going to be a problem. And her letting him know that, and her calming him down, because clearly Tariq was going to go kill Felicia until he talked to his mom, and he realized that's not the way to go about stuff. Like, at times you just need that advice. You need that person who you can trust is going to be honest with you. And that's what Tariq did here. Even down them making a joke about Monet. Him saying, like, what, like when you shot Monet? She said, "Man, that bitch don't know I shot at her." But she was using that as an example of moving strategically. Yeah. Don't put yourself out there. And she told Tariq, if you do it, it can't come back to you. Like, in the end, you want to protect Diana because of what happened, because that was your baby too. But remember, this is your family. This is the family you're still trying to get back to. Between you and then we get the return of your ass here in this episode also, like, just pinpoint, like, this is your family. And I think that's why we like to see them on screen, because it always brings it back to what was the point of Ghost. The whole point of this show was for Tariq to get back with Tasha and his sister. That was the whole point of this, is that he needed to get the money together so he could get back with them. And they're still pointing to, like, that's still the end goal here for Tariq. So she just telling him, don't do anything that's going to jeopardize that.
Yeah,
but
that's
being on screen was the most important aspect of this show.
Absolutely, that's a well-rounded, full circle understanding of this show, especially for episode 7, is understanding what the purpose of this show was. And that's why I was never really on board about the whole idea of this final season being about like father like son, because there was always going to be correlations to that. I think the fans, we were always going to point towards that, but I don't think we needed the spinoff to point that out. I think it was all about Tariq getting back home to family for everything that had happened by consequences of his father, even his own actions, even some of the paths, the same decisions that his father has made. I think it was truly always about getting back home. I also wanted to give some very special love to where that comment, Miss Jessica Love. Definitely forgot about Raina. I'm telling you, you all are going to stop playing with me, acting like Raina was like one of the most prominent characters in this.
Jessica also said, "Yaz can't act."
Where's that comment at? Please don't let that be true.
She put Yaz can't act, and she said, and she asked, "How did Tariq find Tasha?"
Don't let that first one be true. Nah,
Jessica said, "Yaz can't act."
We can keep going.
And you ain't just gonna use Jessica because you don't like Raina. You know, Jessica also doesn't like Yaz. And that's cool, boy. Jessica, if you don't like her. That's cool. I'm cool. We ain't got a problem with that. But I'm just pointing him out that
Ayo Productions. I thought about you as soon as that. I mean, I was excited. First of all, I just want to say, even for the very small cameo, it's extremely beautiful to see this young lady grow up on the show. She's tall. She's about as tall as Tariq now. So one way or another, that's a character, that to kind of see her grow over time. And if anything, I wish could have been used just a little bit more to pull at the emotions for Tariq to do the right thing. Because every time she welcomes Tariq, she's warm. She's always like, big brother, I can't wait for you to come home. Are you going to stay this time? And while that should be means to him having a bit of consciousness about the decisions that he makes, I think they should play into it just a little bit more. I feel like Yaz should totally be a character that has enough influence to ensure that Tariq make the right decisions that he does. And I will say, and I mean, you can tell me what you think. In this episode, might that have been the case? Why he decided to kind of come off of the limb in terms of going out to make the execution between her and Tasha?
It was Tasha telling him, think about your family.
Yeah.
Just think about your family. And that was the key part with him. Because in the end, he was doing all of this for his little sister and his mom. And you got to bring him back from the edge. Like, yeah, that was your child. You lost the baby. Okay, we get that. We know you want vengeance. We get that. But are you willing to throw your life away for this family?
Yeah.
Like Monet and them don't give a fuck about you. They'd kill you in a heartbeat if they could. And you care for Diana, but come on now, you were just with Effie and Diana at the same time. Hey, my friend, you just slept with Anya. Like, how many feelings do you have? I understand you care because she stomped your baby out, but like Diana can't be the reason why.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you gonna sleep with Anya the same night?
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I had to calm her down, man. She just lost her baby, but come on, get in this twin size bed with me so we can do what we need to do. Like, come on now.
Yeah. All right, well, we go back to campus and Kane goes to see Effie. Effie first.
Oh yeah, first.
Yeah, and Effie is looking to make her escape plan. She is looking to stay focused on getting to college, man. She wants to go to Stanford, and while Kane has his ignorant comments and whatnot about it, he is supportive of it because I think he sees that. In a way, I wasn't really expecting the character Effie to be written this way, but I will say, like in a close life and death situation, it seems like Effie has very much resorted to get out of the game fully in order to build some education and a legitimate future for her. But anyway, with that being said, Effie and Kane, who are matching, by the way, thought that was a little interesting. They go to see Brayden. Because they're getting ready to go make a deal here, and the deal there's a lot of different things going on here. First of all, Brayden hitting another bump before he can do anything. Like Brayden's definitely umped out now, and Kane sees it, everybody knows it, wipe your nose, ain't nothing, ain't no secret to his actions. But in this exchange, number one, that Brayden wants the knockoff course correct. So they're looking to get back going with the business that way, which is the course correct that Effie had developed. And then in return, they need Brayden to do some white people shit.
That's it. That's all. That is it. It's no other explanation here. Hey, they like, hey, we need you to be white for just like a day. Help us out here, be white, and then we'll give you course correct. Like, you couldn't just find some random white person to do this?
Yeah. I will agree, like with AO, that Brayden standing his ground in this conversation, because typically Brayden does let Kane do whatever he wants, but he brokered a deal that definitely sets their future for him to continue to be drug dealers on campus, and also for them to get what they need. And in this case, this is because Kane is trying to get the information for Noma so that they can let Effie off of Noma's payroll if she's even being paid, and then also
just let her go.
Just to let her go,
just let her
she
go.
can pursue her future and whatnot. I don't think there's anything to talk about just there yet. We already know. Well, at this point now, we don't know exactly what the plan is, but we do know it's about to be some dumb shit. One way or another. When I call, you answer, and I was just like, "What? What the hell?" I honestly had zero indication
that this was going to be the
prediction of what the plan was going to be. I literally, and even to the point that when the plan kind of happened, I was just kind of like, no fucking way. And I know y'all can't wait till we talk about that, because it's going to be some foolishness there. Anyway, Tasha and Tariq talking again. I think we pretty much summed that all up about what their conversation was. So we can kind of go past that now. The next scene is we get Carter and Felicia, and Carter's letting Felicia know he knows everything. You need to lay low. Go home, sit on the couch. Let me handle this. Just stay off the grid for right now. And I don't think there's nothing to make of that conversation besides the idea that, like,
he was pissed.
They're putting it all together about the safe house killing, about the Diana beating. Let's just call it what it was. It was police brutality here.
She stomped the baby out.
Yeah,
that's it.
Also, that's
she Lil John that jump. Like, that was crazy.
Is it?
And it is police brutality.
When she would absolutely get, regardless if she knew there was a baby or not, she would.
You beat a black person mercilessly. Like, come on now, we're not going to be stupid. But again, it was important to reveal that Tariq killed what's my man name?
Ray?
No.
Oh, Zion. My bad. Yeah, Zion.
Of course he killed Ray.
Yeah.
But then he killed Zion. And it's important to point it out, he did it in a safe house. Because if he did it in a safe house, he had to have the address to get to the safe house. That's why Carter was pissed. Because, like, wait a minute. If he couldn't even release the tape, because, like, if we release it, they're going to question, how did he know where to find him at in a safe house?
Yeah.
All of that got to leak out too. Like, all of this comes back to IAB running a course on them. So he just has to tell Felicia, you messed up. You did all of this without my permission. You just need to go away.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. You need to go away. And she lied when she said, how did I know she was pregnant? I'm sorry. You snatched the baby clothes from her and then smashed her little baby globe. You knew Diana was pregnant.
You knew somebody was pregnant. I don't think she quite put it together.
She asked Diana, what are these clothes?
They didn't reveal it then. They didn't reveal it in that. I went back and checked that. They didn't reveal it.
Monet wasn't pregnant.
Yeah. Right, a little bit of common sense, but like, let's just call it what it is. Felicia is big Brayden because she be off the juice too. So, you know, her rationale is why these sporadic decisions have been. And I said since the first part of the season, she was going to be a problem because she was so impulsive. So the fact of how that played out, I think they have wrote that character for this short duration of time, like, great. Like, to the point is just like, it makes sense for her to not have known she was pregnant, to not even assess that she was pregnant, to look even for the warnings that potentially could have led to her thinking that she's pregnant. She just was just went blind about it. And even to everything that you mentioned about the decisions that she made in terms of telling, oh, just tell Diana to go do it. Oh, did Diana tell did Diana tell Tariq? Does Tariq know about this? Oh, nah, she wouldn't have did that because I told her not to.
Because I told her not to, so Tariq wouldn't know that they're working for us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how did he end up in a safe house? Killing someone in our safe house.
Yeah.
Without him knowing that we were. Come on now.
I haven't thought about this too deep, but in a way, I think if this scene would have happened earlier on in this episode, where like we see Carter just completely frantic about Felicia BS and it being revealed, and then all the Tate stuff came afterwards, I'm kind of curious about how the reaction of Carter's personality would have been to everything. Because here we see him he's at his end because he's like, Felicia, you really fucked up here. Please go away. I need to deal with this. And then with him being sort of in that position of like, I need to make something happen, then he has to tuck his tail because Tate comes in was just like, nah, I'm gonna need to know all of this, So I think either way I could have did this. It could have been kind of really interesting.
It plays both ways though, because he finds out she fucks up, but he finds out she fucks up before him and Nico go on that mission. So now he's even more pressured to squash this Tate shit away, because this has to go away immediately because she just gave me a bigger problem I got to worry about. So I need this Tate shit to go away. So we're going to set this nigga up to make it look like he killed Kamal. And as long as this is on the back burner, then I can handle everything with her. So it works both ways, because this just put extra pressure on him to close out Tate, because now he definitely can't have Tate say anything, because if Tate says something and all the rest of this shit come out, all of them are going to jail.
Yeah. True. Absolutely true. And when all that happened, I the first time I watched it, I didn't notice it, but seeing Diana lurking
behind her.
Yeah. I'm with it. I ain't mad at it at all. Anyway.
She can do surveillance now.
Hey.
Now she can do. I mean, granted, she did set up Monet, so she do got some sneaky parts in her.
Yeah. I'm definitely not mad at that at all. I'm like,
she had no unmarked car, because Monet don't have no modest cars for her to be driving.
You just reminded me of one thing I had said that I needed to remember so I think I noticed a little hiccup here in some of the editing here, which is this is just nitpicking because this is what we do here at time to time. When she leaves out, let me make sure just like I thought. So she leaves the police academy or the police department, police station. Thank you. In the Ford Taurus unmarked gray. I'm just remember that note. Okay. Next scene, we get the most. This got to be top tier, one of the worst plans ever. That Brayden beat up, goes to a cop house. He needs help. I'm not gonna. I mean, am I allowed to say this about Effie? But does Effie look so wholesome that you just like, I don't know her. Nope. I'm just gonna let her in with a white boy that just got beat up?
Nope. She looks like she beat up the white boy. We can say it. It's fine. I mean, who's letting random strangers in their house?
I would have ran this the other way. I would have ran it the other way. I would have let Effie been beat up and Brayden be the one taking her.
No, because then it looks like a white boy beat up a mixed girl.
To a white woman? Do you think that actually is a problem?
Yes, it would be. I
don't know.
Problem.
I don't know if I agree.
That white woman ain't letting no domestic violence pass her door. Nuh-uh. She's no. See, it makes it look, because
ain't her husband a cop? Her husband a cop, right?
Yeah. One, it's more surprising she just didn't call the cop immediately.
I would say that.
Come on. Or who's letting random people just in their house? Because you're sit on the porch. I'll get a cell phone. Like, we all got cell phones. You don't have to come in the house. You ain't got to come in the house for shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck you going in there for? Yeah. You're not using my bathroom. No. Are white women this nice? I've never met a white woman this nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any of our white fans out there, are y'all letting random people in your houses because they got bloody noses and not having questions?
Their fucking doors are unlocked. Hey, I got some comments I need to read here. Also, too, please keep the super chats coming in. We definitely appreciate them. That I ain't gonna lie, that definitely puts the battery in that backpack to want to do more live shows, and interact with you all. But I definitely want to read a couple of comments. Devin saying, Diana finally became Colombiana. It's Colombiana, is what you're trying to say. The movie, the Zoe Saldana movie.
Or he's just saying she's finally became Colombian. Like she Diana been a black girl this whole time. And we keep on forgetting that Poppy is not black.
Yeah.
So yeah, he may be right there too.
Did y'all realize this house was Nico's? I don't think I realized that.
Nico who?
Did Nico, one of the guys on Carter's task force?
Ain't no. Oh, well, yeah, because they had to get a computer that was part of Carter's task force.
No, they just needed any computer that was a part of the police database. Yeah. So how did you? I'm curious. How did you come to the conclusion that it's Nico's house? What was the indication here that it was Nico's house? I'm just looking at. I didn't see anything that indicated that. Yeah, it was Nico's house. That's interesting.
I thought it was Nico's house. You right. They didn't say it had to be somebody, but I always assumed the computer had to be somebody that was on his team.
They did show a picture of Nico. You're right. That's a good catch, you all. You are right, because they damn sure zoomed in on that, and it just went over my head. It went over my head because Effie, master hacker, gets into a police computer's database, hacks it to extract all of the data to take back to look over some of the case files. I mean, here's my thing. I would have just took the laptop.
Like, did he have DSL cable? Why did it take so long for those? Ain't that many files in the world.
I would have just took the laptop. I would just took the laptop.
I would have easily just took the laptop. Like, what? We ain't going through all of this. Who cares? Once you realize it's missing, I got what I need anyway.
Yeah.
Why would I care?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to do that. And then you put it all on a flash drive.
Yeah.
Like, come on now. Come on. But again, if we think about that, we also got to wonder, where did Kane get a police uniform from?
Nah, I'm definitely getting there on that. First of all, Brayden and him being able to tell lies on the fly is just did not work for me. White woman interrogating him in a way that worked, because she got him right in the lie in no time. Effie definitely, I don't know, the whole thing just did not work for me. Even Brayden acting like he's been beat
up and down this stretch all day, and she sees
ho
I had questions.
Ho. There's a lot of funniness in this. First of all, Kane getting the cop uniform is hilarious, because I guess he just has those on hand, right? And she knows a legitimate cop uniform from a fake one because she sees one every day. But we'll leave that alone. But the next thing, her surprise that a cop showed up so quick. Don't you live in a white neighborhood, woman? Isn't these up to your standards at this rate? Like, I'm confused.
We have questions. So many questions. Where was the police cruiser? Where was the police cruiser? You know what cops don't drive? Their own vehicles.
Yeah.
They do not. They do not drive personal vehicles.
Yeah.
So where was the police cruiser? Come on now. We're just not going. We're not going to ask obvious questions here.
Yeah.
At all. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kane changed into that cop uniform mighty quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it would have made more sense if they would have pulled up and Kane had that on already and told him, "Hey, I'm gonna be out here just in case something go bad."
Mm-hmm.
But why would he have known to come knock on her door that fast?
Where the hell he get this uniform from? I'm still like, but Ramirez is the uniform that he has, so we know who he got it from.
Yes, we know exactly who he got it from.
It's just I don't know. I'm not putting that together. Brayden getting a knife. I'm thinking to myself, like, what are you about to do, and why does that make sense? Woman? Yeah, like, why does that? Why was that the move? Why was that even at all a possibility here? Like, yeah, that's gonna do some goods. But yeah, Kane calling him Caucasian male. You know, I know he got to get his chops in. I just didn't see that being a necessary moment to do so. It just didn't seem believable at all. But
for him to pinpoint that Effie was the one who called the police instead of the white woman in front of you.
Yeah. I was just over that scene fully. So I was just so glad when that was over.
It was one of the worst setup things humanly possible.
Yeah.
It made no sense. Because they went above and beyond to get something she could have just stole.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it make more sense if they would have just robbed the place? This white woman by herself, knock on the door or go through a back door, climb out the window, do anything of that nature.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was more of the typical like run in, run out, you know, tie her up, get the laptop and be out. That's it.
Man, they got Kane doing everything, Joe. Kane to dress up as a police officer,
lawyer,
gospel music videos now. Like every time I turn around, they got Kane doing something different. Yeah, like it makes absolute. But this one just took the cake because you gave up course correct for Brayden just to walk into a place with a bloody nose.
I'm just gonna go past some of the other scenes real quick. The whole Russian raid thing. I mean, we already talked about it. They go in there, they got a little whorehouse going on in there. And this is just Carter setting up one of the Russians to pin Kamal's.
Point out here is Nico's asking a good question. What are we gonna do about the Russian that got away?
Yeah, exactly. And then next scene, Drew kills homie, strangles him, and then he has him hang himself in a way that, not that I've been inquiring on how to hang someone or even myself.
It's possible, but
the physics here is definitely a little questionable.
It would have been odd. It would have been hard to cover those up.
Yeah,
and his fingerprints are all over that, whatever that is, and over the door, and over everything else. And dude didn't hear Drew sneak up behind. Like it's like I guess people don't have their heads on swivels in prison no more.
Not when you're getting that Lord's Prayer, okay? That's what I
call it now.
Well,
they could have made it seem more realistic if they wanted to, but they didn't want to do that because it looked away.
All right,
he could have did some things and then got what he needed to get, but it just in the end for Drew to go to this lengths to protect his family is still weird when he then throws his family completely under the bus anyway.
Yeah. So next thing, I mean, we'll talk about that. The next scene, we get Diana outside of Felicia's house. I thought Felicia had left in the Ford Taurus, and I thought they showed a Charger in her driveway, but confirming that they did keep the same car. I think the first time I watched it, I was like, wait a minute. But anyway, Diana's in there because Diana's pulling her best Tariq, coming in through the back, pointing a gun at her. And we got a little standoff here. Now, why it is clear that that Diana is trying to kill her, she almost took an L herself. She got very, very lucky in this fight. But I'm also not convinced that Diana was going to be a cop. But here we are. To the point that Diana almost got strangled out herself. And she ends up headbutting her, knocks on the ground. Felicia doesn't recover at all, kicks her, and then she takes the cast iron. Felicia probably got like a hot comb in there too at this rate. If we just
at this point, she got a cast iron skillet.
Yeah, we're just going to start
hot comb in that jump.
Yeah,
she be doing bumps in the kitchen. Like Felicia must have everything in that jump, Joe. You know what? Felicia may be the daughter of Glenn Close. And when Diana came in there, she told Diana, "I could smell your nappy pussy." Like, yeah, that's got to be it. Other than that, it makes no sense. Yeah. And I may be wrong. It may be a little racist in a way. I've just never seen a white person with a cast iron skillet besides Paula Deen. That's the only white person I know with one. I've never seen another white person.
Martha Stewart probably got one.
You know what? But Martha like niggas too. So, I mean, but just a regular white woman, and she don't even look like she cook. Like, come on, Joe. Like, it made no. But again, I think it was just a nice scene to show that Diana was that frustrated.
Yeah.
that she beat somebody to death.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't pull the trigger, but you beat her to death.
Yeah.
Like, that is so much more gruesome that
Yeah.
she did it that way. But also that fight or flight thing kicked in with her, and she was full of adrenaline and she had no other choice.
Yeah. Hey, Jessica Love, you still in the comments? I need you to come back and redeem yourself for that Yaz comment.
Yes, can
yeah, I'm still on that, just FYI.
But then hold up. After she killed, didn't she go sit on the sofa to call Tariq after hitting and killing that white woman with a skillet?
We'll get to that 1 second. Then let's get to the scene. We go back to the coroner's office now again, because we got the killer that allegedly killed Kamal, and Tate shows up and he spits on him, and I would say Carter seems to be at a situation of which he seems like maybe this is satisfied. Tate, I would agree with the comment that was made earlier that Tate seem to be acting satisfied, but I think this story is long from over.
Yeah.
But then he gets but also after that, Carter gets a text about the Roman problem being solved, and now he wants to talk about Diana, which is Drew texting him because he's aware about what happened with Felicia doing what she did. I am going to do one more quick plug here, please, for the folks that are in here tonight. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. We have a full house. A lot of viewers are in tonight, so we absolutely want to ensure that we get those likes and subscriptions accounted for, since you all are here. And I know you all love us talking power, and we love you all being a part of the show with your comments and so on. It makes the night so much fun and engaging to do so. And again, for us doing a review Tuesday after, which is 5 days normally than after we typically do them, I mean, this shows you just how much y'all really mess with us, so we appreciate that. Where's the comment I wanted to say something about? Where did it go? There was a comment and I don't see it. I don't know. Going on next. So after that, Carter refocuses now about that issue with Roman being solved. I gotta say, while he was just like, hey, I'll walk you out. Let's say if you need anything, let me know. Where do you think Carter's mind is at right now? Because it's really hard to kind of indicate where his attention and his focus is at, his thoughts is at here. It's
on Felicia at this point. It's him trying to figure out not if she's okay. It's she's caused all of these problems. How the hell am I going to solve everything that she did? So he's not thinking about her. He's thinking about the shit that she did.
Yeah.
And how can he fix it? And then all of a sudden we see Drew get all these text messages, and this causes him to make a decision that still makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
In the end, like, it makes absolutely no sense, the decision that he makes. Yeah. So, but here Carter is strictly thinking about one problem solved, two problems solved now that the guy is dead who was possibly snitching. So now I need to solve this other issue that's all of is for Carter, everything is compounding. Every time he turns around now is something that he has to put out that is too big for him to actually deal with.
Yeah, facts. Next thing we get Kane and Effie. They're going over everything they got from the database here. They're able to pinpoint who's part of Carter's task force. They also are able to come to a conclusion that it cannot have been the Russians who were responsible for what happened to Noma's, all the Noma stuff. So, yeah.
This way he gets the pictures, and then he sees the picture of Felicia, and he puts two and two together.
He locks in. He's like,
this is the Felicia that.
Look at Kane being smart, putting it together on the fly. He locks in on the name. He's like, oh shoot, you know.
That's when he makes a phone call to Monet as he's going down to the elevator.
Yeah,
like, please tell me you not hooked up.
Yeah,
with Carter at this point.
Yeah.
So at least he now tries to throw a signal to his mom, like, even though I need to tell Noma this, I need to make sure you're not hooked up with him, because this is going to cause a bigger problem.
Yeah. Monet gets home, notice Diana's gone, safe is open. It is what it is. Then we see Drew and Carter. Drew, much like his mother, trying to make a claim about the leverage that he has. Carter not trying to hear it. It is what it is. Drew gets his phone back. He gets all the messages, the missed calls, and everything he missed while he's in jail, which basically also updates him in real, not in real time, but from the time he's missed about
prison.
Yeah.
And he gets all the messages back.
Yeah. Tariq shows up at the house now. They find out that Felicia has a baby, and which is kind of sad.
Let's start off first that Diana is sitting on Felicia's sofa drinking a glass of wine, and she's waiting for Tariq to come through the door. And then Tariq comes through the door because at this point she's chilling. She at home. That's her house now.
Was she really?
She had no issue staying there.
Wait, was she really sitting on the couch? Hold on.
Yes. When she called Tariq, she was sitting on the couch. I said, Tariq, I need your help. And it's like, wait, why are you so comfortable in this dead woman's house? Yeah. Like Diana loves making herself comfortable once someone's murdered. So like she's just like, well, Tariq, come over. I need your help. And then he gets there, and then she pops up, and then we find out that Felicia has a child. One, why did you go upstairs? Fuck that kid. There's no need for you to go upstairs. There was no need for her to go upstairs. They say, oh my God, she has I feel so bad now. She curb stomped your baby. And you care that she has a kid? See, this is what I was suspecting Tariq to step in and say, you know what? Fuck, let me shoot this baby so we can get on our way. Like this, if they'd have just shot the baby, think about it. Nothing else that happens in this episode would have mattered.
Yeah.
All he had to do was shoot the kid and go.
I think there's a part of them realizing like what could have been as parents together, and
then take the white baby and raise that white baby as your own. If you're gonna do all of that, just raise the white baby as your own. Like the baby woke up and Diana said, I'm gonna come upstairs and read you a bedtime story. I'm gonna be like, bitch, no, you're not. You're not gonna read him a bedtime story. Yeah. You done made yourself super comfortable in this woman's house. She's still bleeding out on the floor. And like, come on, Joe. This whole scene made no sense.
Yeah.
But it just shows just how scared Diana is, and just how this ain't the life for her at all.
Yeah, and again, I think again having a moment of just like, I think they're thinking about what parenthood would have looked like for the two of them, and I think them having a moment of putting the kid to bed together side by side. I think that's kind of where their mind was at. But in the grand scheme of everything, this wasn't the move. But also, I hear people saying like Diana's toxic for calling Tariq after she didn't want Tariq there, and now she needed Tariq's help. But again, I think you have to give her the ultimate pass this entire episode for everything because of the extreme stress and literal trauma that she's endured and how she's kind of working through it. So I that's fine with me there. And the overall thing for me is that she should have never killed the cop. This was not going to land anywhere. So her talking about what are we going to do? First thing I'm thinking to myself is like, what are you going to do, Diana? I call your mama.
Says, what are we going to do as Tariq is leaning on the door frame, full fingerprints out, rubbing them Jones all over Felicia's house. What are we going to do? Burn this house to the ground. It'd have been so many other options. Before it would have been to reading that baby a bedtime story.
Yeah.
I'd be like, put a pillow over his head and just take him out peacefully. He ain't got to know. Like there's just no way I'm leaving that baby alive. And there's no way I'm not burning that house to the ground.
Yeah.
Like you won't find nothing in here. But again, because they do that, and then Monet comes in. Oh wait, go ahead, because I'm just jumping ahead.
Oh yeah. So getting to the last few scenes now. So next thing you know, we got Noma and we got a couple. We got Noma and Kane going over the records that they were able to pull from the database, and they have also informing her that it couldn't have been the Russians. So back to the drawing board, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Also, she still has issues, and I'm just skipping all that to say that Kane decides that he's going to get this lady a green card by getting married. She's not sure if he's running game or not, but he's serious, and that fits her citizenship issue. She still has the contract issues, and she still needs to figure out who is snitching in terms of why her stuff is got confiscated. But while that's all happening, he had told Effie to stay at the penthouse because he was just going to drop that off and come back. And Effie is just sitting there waiting, all sad, all lonely. She got sold the dream. But then going back to
Tariq for him, that's her fault.
Yeah, poor her. Also, I forgot to mention too, Effie got a call from her mother. She completely didn't answer that. I believe her mother is going to make an appearance. I think that's something that we've been tipped off about pretty earlier. I believe she said it in her interview, but Effie mother is definitely making an appearance. So they got 2 episodes to make this happen now.
Everybody coming back. Them last 2 episodes, Joe.
Right?
Everybody's coming back. Because what happened to Paz? Paz just disappeared after Junior died. And she got to come back this last 2 episodes.
Yep. So Diana and Tariq, they're having a conversation again. Still trying to figure things out. Monet shows up. Monet lets them know that she's going to take care of everything. Then we get Drew showing up with Carter, and now we have a fiasco because at this rate now, it's a standoff. Carter is there. He's mad about what happened. He notices that she's dead. He asks us about the child. The child is alive. Essentially, what did you think about this last scene? And then the only thing I want to say, and then I'll let you take it home here, is that I feel like Tariq at the end was contemplating on making the move when he was kind of looking back at Carter, seeing him a little exposed there, and Tariq getting in his element because he threatened Tariq. He's like, "Oh, now you're a part of all of this too." And I don't think Tariq took that lightly. And also, I think it's safe to say that Tariq may also feel that this dude Carter is responsible for everything with Diana, regardless that it was Felicia's rogue move. I think he looks back and says, like, no, you're the one calling the shots. You're the one that's responsible for this. So yeah, what did you think about this closing scene here?
It's just crazy how everybody arrived at Felicia's house at the same time.
It's power, of course.
Right. Everybody arrived at the same time. I mean, how did Drew know that they were going to Felicia's house? He knew that Diana was seeking vengeance, but how did he know, like, well, she got to be seeking against Felicia, so let's leave the prison and head straight to Felicia's house to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
At the same time, Monet comes there because she knows where Diana's going. How the hell did she find out Felicia's address? Because how the hell did Diana find out Felicia's address? Because Davis had to get that address.
Diana followed Felicia, so we got that. Monet getting there, we would have to assume that Diana messaged her. Tariq got there because Diana told her.
Because if Diana messaged her, why would she have been surprised that Diana had her gun already?
Oh, true. I mean, well, no. All right, let me tell you how I think this played out. Diana followed her, so that's how she got there. Diana messaged Tariq. That's how Tariq knew how to get there. I think in the state
Tariq knew how to get there because he got the address. Well, Davis tried to still give Tariq the address.
Yeah, well, he had 2 ways to get it. You're right.
Yeah, but then Diana did call Tariq and let Tariq know, I need your help.
Right. Yeah. And I think in the state of wanting to clean this up, he called Monet. Monet shows up, sees the situation. It's a mess. That's the big question mark. Like, how did Monet get there? But I would assume that Diana told Monet to get there. And then Carter and Drew got there because Drew ran his mouth about everything that happened, probably brought up about what happened about Felicia. He knew Felicia was home because he sent Felicia home, and then they went there, and then coincidentally, everybody shows up at the same time. So that's all I can go with that.
Time because Diana stayed for 3 hours after killing Felicia. Like that's why everybody there.
Yeah,
Diana killed her. Then Diana sat down on the sofa for a minute.
Yeah,
probably scrolled Instagram. She called Tariq. Said, Tariq, I need your help. Tariq was nowhere near her when she said, I need your help. So then he probably had to drive 30 to 40 minutes to get to Diana. In the meantime, she just sitting on the couch, chilling, waiting for Tariq to get there. He get there. Then the baby wake up. So then they got to go back upstairs. They probably bathed them, put them back to bed, read them a bedtime story. And then they went back downstairs to clean the body up. And then that's when everybody showed up. So Diana was there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
When she should just left right after killing her. Took the cast iron skillet because no one would have believed that white woman had a cast iron skillet anyway. Took the cast iron skillet with you and left. Because Diana had on gloves when she was doing everything.
Yeah.
Tariq did not.
Yeah.
So Diana would have been perfectly fine if she'd have just killed her and left. The point that she heard a baby, fuck that baby, leave. Let him go play in his mama's blood on the floor. I'm not worrying about him being there. That way, none of the other stuff would have happened. Yeah. But again, this is Diana not understanding how to do things and it all catching up to her. And then you get Carter showing up and you're right. Because Tariq at this point, Tariq wants Carter dead.
Yeah.
And I get you, he wants Drew dead too.
You
It ain't
think?
just Carter. Yes. He wants
Hmm.
Drew. Hell, Monet may want Drew dead. Because she was pissed.
Yeah, he did expose
She was
everything, but I
pissed.
mean, he tried to broker a deal of basically giving himself up to protect his family. I think Drew is maybe just at his end with everything, and I think he's doing anything to try to, gain protection for her, especially Diana. I think he felt bad and felt some type of way about missing everything. I think when he saw all those text messages, that's where he realized like he missed so much and how critical his absence has been for them. So I don't know, but I tell you this, I tell you this, we got 2 episodes left. Episode 8 next week. That episode is titled Higher Calling. They got a lot to really pack in here. Because it's 2 episodes left, so 3 episodes left because we got to get to 10, right?
I don't know. I don't normally watch trailers because we don't normally get those. But because I watched this the way I did, it literally said 2 episodes
3, yeah,
left. And I
yeah,
said,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thrown off when it said
it's
2 episodes left
it's
on the
10.
preview this week.
Yeah, it's 10. I'm sorry, it is 10. I spoke to the director of episode 409 already. That interview is available too. So if you want to get like a hint about what episode 9 is going to be about, no spoilers, obviously, you can check that out. Yeah, but yeah, nonetheless, yeah. So we got 3 more, but that's still 3 hours, probably a little bit more of a lot that they got to cover, and we got to see. There's definitely some
And set up
more.
whatever the next show's going to be.
That is
This is
that is super important, is that they owe us something to hold on to for the next show.
and just pay attention. A lot of these characters aren't being reintroduced for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tate is definitely an interesting character that you can tell that like they might want to be doing something with Tate, which I'm always going to be for. So
Or even Joseph saying for Forrest, like, that's not the end of Tommy's journey. It's
yeah.
just the end of the show. So it
Mhm.
may be something like Power the Family, where you get all of them back on one show instead of having everybody separate on different shows again,
Yeah.
or something of that nature. But it's going to be something that's going to be set up
Hey
here.
man, wouldn't it be nuts if they did a movie?
That's not happening because Mari's definitely not coming back for nothing.
I mean, yeah, they wouldn't bring Amari back, but if they did a movie, I mean, he could be enticed to do a movie. A movie is much less of a demand in the series.
You heard my man on that interview. He ain't doing shit for Power at this point. he could care. Look, it's the check it would take to get him back would be ridiculous, and he ain't coming back for no movie. And I don't think a movie works.
He might be a little happy now. He got that Star Trek money coming in. So who knows?
Yeah, for sure. But nonetheless, I think it's just gonna, these last 3 episodes, you're gonna have to close out this whole thing with Noma, whole thing with Carter, whole thing with is Tariq gonna get his happy ending?
Yeah.
And then what's the ramifications of what Drew did? What's the
Yeah.
ramifications of these murders? How much longer before all the walls close around Carter?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
what's going to be his reaction when it happens? Because he don't seem like a sane person that's just going to go down and get arrested.
Not at all. Unless Tate is the one to do so. I can't see Carter being killed off. So I think Tate being introduced to take him down is a more legitimate
ending.
Clearly,
I think everybody's putting in plans right now to kill Carter.
I'm sure.
He's the problem.
I'm sure it is. But I mean, like, when you see certain actors, you're just like, I don't see Mary J getting killed. That just doesn't make sense. I don't see Michael Ealy being killed, but I do see Tate coming back for a reason. I think he has to take one of these big figures down. And again, I think I feel very confident in saying that him taking down a big fish like Carter has monumental ramifications for where that character can go next. I mean, and then if they decide to do something political, he goes from councilman to somewhere in the House or Senate, or does he make a bid for president? Do they go for something like that? Who knows, man? It could be anything at that rate. That could be interesting. Or he gets a promotion and ends up in another city or something of some sort, you know. Chicago could be, you know, could absolutely be. So I don't know. But anyway, I think we'll wrap it there, right? You feel good to wrap it there?
Yeah, that's the end of everything.
That's it.
That's the way the episode closes out. Like,
well, it is. It is good to have you by my side again, brother, to do what we do best. It has been nothing but love from you all showing up, showing out today on this random ass Tuesday, talking some power book ghosts. As I mentioned, episode 408 next week. Also got some content dropping with that as well too. So stay tuned for all of that. We got interviews on the channel now. You all do show a lot of love to our recaps, but also check the channel for the interviews from some of these cast members. Golden Brooks showed up a little bit, talk about some Janet, but also talked about the potential for the Girlfriends reboot. Where do they kind of stand with that? Little update there. And then obviously we talked all things Noma with Carolyn and really this formidable force that she's been on this show and what we might be able to expect.
Anya at all in this episode.
Not at all, no. Nor the twin size bed, but come hand in hand out here. But that's no here nor there. Yeah, folks, definitely tune in. I could tell you who's coming up. I'll tell you. Let me see. How can I hint at without giving anything away? I'll just say this. One of those people, I think he got beat and he hit a bump this episode. That's got to be the biggest giveaway at all time. He got beat.
Beat and hit a bump. It's only one person.
That hit a bump.
That got beat and hit a bump in this episode.
Yeah, because there's only one person that hit a bump too.
Yeah. But no. Felicia hit a bump this episode.
True that.
You're right. Right by the cast iron.
Oh, she got beat too, actually. Matter of fact.
She did get beat and hit a bump. Yeah, that is true.
Well, if there's a common denominator with that, Caucasian is the basis for that.
That's the only time you can say, come Caucasian male.
Yeah.
Like, come on. We gotta talk to somebody about Kane getting his police uniform on so fast and not having a cruiser.
Yeah.
With a police wife.
Yeah.
And she didn't even question it. She's like, oh.
And his last name Ramirez. So I mean, I guess his last name is Tejadas. I guess Ramirez kind of works. So whatever.
Yeah. The Mexican name didn't bother. Wow. The Spanish name didn't bother it. But cops not having ring cameras, like vivid systems. And I mean, come on. You think Nico don't have that type of system in his house where he can see everything? You rung the doorbell. That shit probably went off on his phone. And he's seeing this. What? Come on, bro. But okay. We're gonna go along with it.
Yeah. Yep. All right, folks, that'll do it for tonight. We'll see y'all back next week for episode 408. We appreciate y'all tuning in tonight.